The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Hello everyone, welcome to Leadership Podcast. It is yet again another edition of The Big Issue. And of course, as usual, we are completely poised to bring the big issue to you the way it is. Of course, our in-house analysts are here. Paul Agbo.
It's always a pleasure to be with you.
And David Tucker.
Yeah. Always ready to be here to share my thoughts.
Yes, they are all here bubbling with action, not just action, but reasonable action to take you on the big issue of the day. And of course, I'm your regular host, George Zagba. And without taking much of your time, let's just go into the big issue of the day, which is the military onslaught. And of course, the fleeing bandits and the kaleidoscope of a terror war. Following the onslaught of the military, bandits are said to be fleeing Zamfara State to other states, including Niger and Kaduna. And of course, there are reports that the bandits are also fleeing southwards to southern states. And of course, security agents in other states like the southwest states have been alerted to look out for the criminals who are apparently overwhelmed by the superior firepower of the military. The southwest states are said to have put the regional security outfit Amotekun on the alert following intelligence report that the bandits being dislodged from Zamfara State were fleeing southwards. And of course, unfortunately for the bandits, Zamfara State Governor Bello Metawale has declared that the state government was no longer interested in dialoguing with the bandits. And of course, Metawale said instead, security forces will flush them out of the state. The governor disclosed that the barrage of attacks on the bandits by security forces had made them to make a fresh overture to government seeking for dialogue. The governor said the bandits, Emises, informed him that they had repented and would want to dialogue with the government. He noted that some of the bandits were running out of Zamfara to other states as a result of the new security measures introduced by the state government. Well, why the onslaught is on and the bandits are fleeing, there is also the verbal war, especially the one between presidential spokesman Femi Adesina and Islamic cleric Sheikh Gumi. And of course, it started when Femi Adesina described Sheikh Gumi as a lover of bandits. And of course, heard what Adesina said. Adesina, while reacting to the statement credited to Gumi that the military offensive will not work and that the bandits are going nowhere, Adesina said Gumi is a lover of bandits. And replying him back, Gumi said Adesina was a fool. He was the bandit in Buhari's government. And of course, the likes of former Daily Trust editor and columnist Mahmoud Jega had come out to counter Gumi and said, look, you can't say that we can't end the bandit war, the bandits fight, or the war against bandits through war, that it can be ended through war. Well, that is the kaleidoscope of the terror war, the verbal war, the physical onslaught by the military. And of course, military are saying to be having the upper hand. But information we are getting is coming from only one side. The idea is that there are no independent verification of the so-called routing of bandits in Zamfara State. What do you have to say about this?
Well, I think the offensives, it's long overdue. Nigerians had always wanted a military offensive that would restore peace to the various communities. It's not just Zamfara. When I hear bandits moving towards other parts of it, which part of this country is even safe? The bandits are everywhere. There are kidnapping everywhere. They are all bandits. I think if you want to give them, to call them the right word, the ones in Zamfara should be called terrorists. If they have the capacity to bring down an aircraft, that's no longer banditry.
Yes, because
So-
Nigerians are saying that see the idea. All these fleeing bandits, all this while we've been hearing it. Right from
Yes.
last week, they've been fleeing, Zamfara fleeing.
The
But
military should have a
there
backup
are
plan.
no independent verification. It's only what we hear from the military.
Yes.
Can we be so sure that these
Yes,
bandits are
sir.
fleeing?
The bandits, it's not the military. The community members are also speaking. When you speak with some community leaders have been coming out to say these guys are fleeing. That is where this information is coming from. The Sokoto people raised the alarm that the guys are fleeing. So other people, it is from the community. But if these guys are fleeing, the military that are actually carrying out the onslaught, do they have a backup plan to mock them up? That's an issue for them.
And
It's
of
not
course,
mine.
we even heard that in Niger State they flee into the military barracks. Why would they go to the barracks? To take refuge?
It's from what I heard, the bandits, because I was on phone with a source, a military person who was operating within the Niger, and he was like, "No, that's not true. The bandits ran into an ambush laid by the military, and only one soldier died, contrary to reports. Said the one we are hearing of all this mass this is not in Niger. That what they know within Niger, nothing of such. Only one soldier paid the script. So for the Niger, that's what I have. But for the Zamfara axis, there's no communication there that you can say, okay, let me call this person and verify this information. But for the military to tell you they are doing this, we've always been criticizing them for not doing anything.
Yes.
There has always been that call, that cry from the community that these guys are not going after the bandits. They are now going after them. So I think we should be happy that they've woken up from the storm. And
Well,
they want
most
their
Nigerians are
doing
saying
what they're
that
supposed to do.
most Nigerians are saying that these marching orders Buhari gave last week was a very serious one, because it's like after that is when we started seeing this kind of deadly offensive against the criminals. And of course, one could say, okay, we've established the fact that they are actually fleeing because the military, the troops, the soldiers are not going after them. Then if they are doing so, it must be deadly, because why is it that it is now we're beginning to see this kind of action? Something Nigerians have been talking about since, that the military are not taking on the bandits the way they are supposed to take on them.
It's because the government does not really care about that, to me, about the people. Because the people are the ones living within the communities. They are feeling the heat. You sit here in the city, they'll tell you this is what their problem is. And you now tell them what you feel it is their problem. It shouldn't be. So the people have been crying. This is what these guys are doing to us. But the government never really cared about what is actually going on in our rural communities. Until recently, that we are saying all these things. I kept saying it, that it's not that the military does not have the capability or the capacity to actually go after and rout those guys. But the problem is the body language of the government. There are people in authority that may be. Yeah, of course, the military will always tell you the political masters. They need to take order from somebody before they can actually go out. Several occasions you talk to them, they will tell you we never have an order to go after them. Who should give that order? It's going to be a politician. Is he ready to give that order to go after people who he might have used to win? So that's the challenge.
But
That's a big challenge.
we have always heard the order coming from Mr. President, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We were here last week, Paul, when we were talking of the marching orders. We were even thinking of how many marching orders has Buhari given since he assumed office in 2015. So are you saying that those marching orders from the president are just mere lip service?
It was just politics. It was just political statements. There was nothing actionable
In the first place?
Of course.
Well, Paul, then what do you now say about this political will that has been garnered either by the president also, George, confront these criminals.
Nigeria, talk is cheap, and sometimes even cheapest. Um, we, we, we tend to reveal our plans, our strategy before the press. We are quick to shine before the press, to score cheap publicity. If I may advise the presidency, security meetings with chiefs, security chiefs, intelligence officers should not be made public again. Because the people you are dealing with, they have strategies, they have intelligence officers, they have people who monitor the media, monitor reports. They make informed decisions for what they see and read in the press. So if one thing I would tell the presidency, keep quiet. Let the results speak for itself.
Just like we are seeing now.
Today, I must commend the Nigerian military. They have impressed me to the level that I can give the Nigerian military a high five for what they are achieving currently in Zamfara. Keep the world in that. See, stop talking too much. The military in Nigeria at a point start behaving like politicians, trying to score cheap publicity. Popularity. Don't talk.
Media hype.
They don't need media hype now. The media will do their work and hype them on achieving success, on seeing the results. When the Super Tucano arrived, some people took shots with the aircraft. Why? You want to officially induct the plane into the military. You are bringing the military. No, we are at war. And you don't expose your strategies to your enemies. Whether we like it or not, the bandits are enemies of the Nigerian state. Keep the world in darkness. Keep the media away from what you do. Let the media do their own investigation. What is happening in Zamfara is a good product of a well-planned strategy.
Of course, I agree with you. Imagine, look at all the missions put in place.
Somebody told me
they have to jam all the networks.
Yes, by jamming the network, by closing weekly markets,
kept the bandits in the dark.
That is where those bandits, they raid some of these markets, they steal from the traders to feed themselves.
Don't forget that Katsina and some other states, they had to even
recall
interstate movement of cattle.
Recall 1969. What led some of the factors that led to the end of the civil was hunger, starvation. When you cut their means of livelihood, those guys will starve. And that is what the state government and the military are achieving now. You cut means of communication, you cut means of livelihood. These guys cannot fight with empty stomach. So what these military guys are doing, what they have done is the best thing that have happened to the security strategy of Nigeria. And let them keep it. By the time they finish with Zamfara, keep some battalions there, move to Sokoto, move to Katsina. Before you know why the southwest guys, with the help of Amoteku, are also blocking them from coming to the southwest. This war will end in the next 3-4 months. Bandits will become history in Nigeria. Then you will now face the big one up northeast. I love what they are doing, and Nigerians will join hands to hail that operation. Everybody in Nigeria has become military analysts, security analysts, giving the bandits enough information. So now no informants are stuck. Nothing to tell. And the military have a way of communicating. Unfortunately, we lost a few soldiers recently and must sympathize with the Nigerian military. over that loss in Zamfara. It happens. In war, such is expected.
Well, let's just quickly take a short break. We'll be back in a moment.
The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Welcome back. Still on the Big Issue in Leadership Podcast. And of course, the big issue of the day is the military onslaught, the fleeing bandits, and the kaleidoscope of a terror war. Well, back to what we were saying, Dakar. Now look at the information is that the bandits are dispersing to other states, including Southern states. So now this begs the question whether there is coordination in carrying out this onslaught at all. Because the military ought to have anticipated that the criminals would definitely flee in all directions and in no direction at all. And if they did it, then it is a sign of lack of proper strategy. Isn't it, Dakar?
Of course, I said it earlier that the military will have a backup plan to mop up those guys.
Of course.
And if they don't, then that's another area that we should be talking about. But talking about Zamfara, I spot something. You're talking about shutting down an entire communication. There are, of course, are we looking at the human rights? What hardship are we causing for the innocent citizens? Is there any plan to take care of those guys? I'm not there. That's one thing I would like us to be mindful of. We've shut down communication, we've shut down the markets. What about the other human rights implications? Are we giving a thought to that?
We'll be talking of human rights now.
We're talking about it.
I know.
When we are thinking of them, let them get rid of the criminals
to pay for peace to reign once again in the states.
That's what you say. It's better that there's no rights during war times, but
it's better they go through this situation. It's better than fleeing from bandits daily. The onslaught on the people of Zamfara, and as a result of the recklessness of this bandit.
But the bandits live within Zamfara. They live within communities.
Yes, they live within.
Why was it so difficult for the state government to really tackle this?
No, the state government couldn't have done that. They couldn't have done
but
that.
They know the people.
Even though they know the people, they couldn't have done that. These governors are helpless. Let us tell ourselves the truth. They are helpless.
Why are they not helpless?
They are helpless because they are just mere heads of security in their state or chief security officer. But do they have the commanding authority? They don't.
Well, most of them have said it.
Most of the military
sometimes they will even take action in the state before you know. You will now hear another order from Abuja. Or even some of the security agencies.
The governors can't even
the security operative will tell you that
the
they have
police.
another superior order from Abuja not to do what you do. They have not said they had the state.
It's a small price for the people of Zamfara to pay for now. For peace to reign.
But I believe if the military, the way they operate, I believe if they really want to tackle any problem, I think it's beyond a politician can hardly tell a general not to carry out an operation that is in the interest of the state. But do we have those kind of daring generals? We have excellent, brilliant generals in Nigeria. But when it comes to going against some of the politicians to do what is right for the state, it becomes a problem. Why can't we get it right? That's an issue. Why can't we get it right? Is it that the system is not in a way that will give them the right? Should we look at the system? That's another issue I keep thinking about. Does it mean the institution does not really give them that protection to go against them for the interest of the nation? But of course, when taking an oath as a soldier, your oath is not to the president, it's not to the governor, but it's to the nation, Nigeria. Why can't we see such things? I'm happy what is going on.
I think the politicians have also realized that you cannot carve a rotten wood, the Chinese say. Why I say you cannot carve a rotten wood is that they've seen it, that the old strategy, the old method of politicians trying to meddle into security affairs has not been working. and they can't. You can't hide debt. People have been slaughtered there. So it has got to the point that even the politicians are also worried that look, there's no peace in my area, in my state.
Yes, most
Who
Nigerians.
do we govern?
Most Nigerians are
peace.
even
So
of the
now
opinion.
I think the politicians have allowed the military to do their job.
That is the point. Wait, another thing I'm even thinking, see, don't forget that recently most of the governors came out talking. Even the governor of the president's home state,
we can't continue pampering them.
came out talking.
Matawale and Masai tried to pamper this bandit by offering them
That's why he's saying
amnesty. But they used the spoon, ate the food, and went back to kill, maim, and steal, and also cattle.
That is why
They now started behaving like spoiled brats, and that also give credence to the position of El-Rufai and Governor Bello of Kaduna and Niger State. Deal with them once and for all, and let's move on. So that it will serve as deterrence to any group of persons that want to take arms against the state. Non-state actors can't take us for a ride. We need to set this example before they overrun us, like what happened in Kabul, in Afghanistan. One day we will sit down here, a state governor will flee, like President Ghani, flee to Abuja because bandits have overtaken the state capital.
Well, that brings me back to this question. You didn't answer that question. I said the idea that these bandits are fleeing,
yes,
and at the end of the day,
how many of them are fleeing? Like Additional said,
they are fleeing
those that the Air Force did not pick,
and they see
the ground troops will pick them. They will pick them.
If the military allow them flee like this, it's still lack of
strategy. Of course, in battle, some of them will flee, but a number of them have been neutralized. On Sunday, those that flee are weakened already.
And there is even the thinking that there is even the fleeing ones that even came to do that jailbreak.
I don't think so.
Why would you say so? If they say they are fleeing southward,
I don't think so. The jailbreaking is a different ball game. I had the criminals there, boys, loyalists came to free.
Over the weekend, I had an interaction with, had a conversation with the Director of Defense Information, Major General Benjamin Sawyer. So I asked him, he said, why are Nigerians so inquisitive about military strategy?
It's because
earlier Nigerians said we are not doing anything. We've rejigged our strategy. We've cornered them. We're hitting them hard.
Yes.
Now, why is it that can't you just wait for us to finish?
Because
and then see,
Nigerians are used to military talking.
Good. So he said he is not commenting that he will no longer speak on military operations.
Better. I agree with him.
That was what he told me. He said he's not speaking on any military operations, that if they are achieving success, the communities will tell us. That was what he told me. If they are not achieving, the communities will say it. But him, when the operation is done, they can tell us, or we can go there and find out if they really did what they are supposed to do. But as for him as a defense spokesperson, he's no longer speaking on military operations. And that was the end of the conversation. And I was glad. I was like, yes, you shouldn't really, you don't come out to tell me you're doing this. Yeah. Let me see results.
Yes.
If I tell you people in my place cannot sleep, let me see what you're doing to make sure they sleep. Don't come and tell me you're going there. No. Go there, secure the place, allow them to sleep.
Well, Governor Metawali has said that the Zamfara State government was no longer interested in dialoguing with these bandits.
Yes.
But it ought to be recognized that every conflict has to come to the negotiation table.
Yes.
Because you can't kill all these bandits. There's a way you take them to a level that at the end of the day they will come out surrender.
Mention gunboat diplomacy. In international relations, there's a concept called gunboat diplomacy. You are negotiating, but your firepower is working. That is what will happen at the end of the day. Why the military maintain firepower, its firepower onslaught on the bandit, they can still be negotiating. they can still be negotiating. That's what we advise the federal government, the approach.
I want to add to that.
We can't tolerate this. We can't tolerate acts like this. And people like we didn't discuss, talk about additional and Gumi.
This.
Gumi might be right, but it's too late. It's too late.
The window has closed.
The window has closed. So you should leave additional out of it.
Okay,
additional is just doing his job as a media person.
You're talking about dialoguing with, these are non-state actors. They are not supposed to carry arms. The moment you carry arms, you're no longer, in fact, you've lost your rights. Now, the military guys are trained. They are not trained to kill animals. They are trained to kill humans who rise up against the state. So by the time you have that, your own rifle, a non-state actor, they are not trained to come and ask you to drop it. They are trained to gun you down and take it because you are a danger to the society. So the essence of the training is not to come and start begging you to. If they want dialogue, they should be the ones to start begging. Go through the traditional rulers and other opinion leaders. We will not do it again. Subject themselves to the authority of the state, the government, and that will be the end.
Let the power of the state reflect.
But it should be that the power, they are being subjected to the power. Not that they will be running let's say a mini government within the state.
And then
it shouldn't be
begin to ask the Nigerian government to come and negotiate.
No, they don't have that right.
Well,
they don't have that right.
Paul, we don't have time again. Let's quickly look at this face-off between the presidency and Shegumi. What do you think about and the bandits lover?
I think there's Gumi should stop making some unguided utterances because he has tried. I must give it to him that he's tried. But you should know that mob are very difficult big set of people to control. He has tried to manage them, to bring them closer to the table of negotiation. But it didn't work. You should remember that it didn't work in Kaduna and it didn't work in Zamfara. So you should stop dragging the Nigerian government in the mud over amnesty issue.
Okay, just listening to what he said, Gumi is claiming that the bandits have learned to escape from the bombardment by the military, which is his own way of telling us that the onslaught on the criminal is futile effort. Don't you think Nigerians, because Nigerians are not saying that maybe it is high time the DSS. Let me finish. The military is saying that the most Nigerians are saying that it is high time the DSS and the military invites Gumi because there's something he is hiding that at the end of the day we don't know about. And you know, if it is any other Nigerian that would have been saying this thing, they would have arrested him and said, why is Gumi's own different?
I don't want to accuse the government of being running the government on a one-sided approach. But, well, if Gumi can be invited to the brief, but I don't think anything will come out of it. There's no point. Eventually, the government can caution him, but that will not stop the government from carrying out its statutory constitutional function of defending the Nigerian state and its people.
Okay.
Well, he's a religious leader, and most of the bandits, when they profile them, I'm sure the military know what they are saying. And his utterances, they know, and these utterances should be documented. So I believe they may be trying to run some tests on the issue. Because of course, he may be invited. They may have their own plan with him, but he's a religious leader, so they may just not want to go to make some people or act more enemies within the state, peace loving people. So maybe, perhaps, that's why he has been allowed. But I think the way he speaks, he doesn't speak like a Nigerian.
Thank you very much.
Should stop being active
Doesn't speak like a
relations
Nigerian.
officer
for the bandits. And I think that is what Adesina was saying. When he started attacking Adesina, saying he's even the bandits in Buhari's
They
country.
should just leave all those. I think the government should, additional should ignore him and move on.
Well, that is the much we can take for today's big show. And of course, I hope that you had a nice time keeping tab with us out there. And of course, our in-house analysts have actually done a lot to address, dissect, interrogate, and scrutinize the issue as it is. And that is why I must thank them, Taka and Paul Lagbo. It was a nice one here in the studio. And of course, join us tomorrow, same time, for another edition of this program. Have a very wonderful evening.